Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Active Listening. I'm Alyssa, and today we're going to talk about something many English learners dream of: talking English without thinking. Can you imagine having a chat where words just come out easily, without you having to translate in your head or search for the right grammar? It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Well, I'm here to tell you, it's not just a dream. It's something you can definitely learn to do, a real skill you can develop over time. Today, we're going to explore what it truly means to speak English without thinking, why this kind of easy automatic speech is so important for us learners, and most importantly, how you can actually start making it happen for yourself. We'll dive into simple but powerful tips, look at some common problems people face, and share some real-life examples and ways to practice that will genuinely help you on your journey. So, when I say talking without thinking, what exactly do I mean? It's not about being careless or just blurting things out without care. No, it's about reaching a level of fluency where your brain automatically finds and uses English words and sentences by itself, much like a native speaker does in their first language. Think about your main language. When you speak it, you don't stop to consciously think about how to make a verb agree with its subject, or carefully recall every single word. You just speak, and the words flow. This is what we call automatic speaking. Your brain knows the sounds, patterns, and ways of the language so well that it completely skips that step of translating everything in your head. For us as English learners, this means moving beyond that internal monologue, where you're constantly moving words from your native language into English, or from English back to yours. It's about building such strong connections in your brain that when you want to express an idea, the English words and grammatical structures seem to surface almost instantly without you having to go on a deliberate search. This wonderful change from trying hard to speaking easily is the main goal we're aiming for. This ability to speak automatically is super important for a few really good reasons. First, it makes you speak much more smoothly and quickly. When you're not pausing to think about every single word, your conversations become natural and flow well, like a gentle stream. You'll find you can share more complicated ideas without those frustrating, awkward stops for mental translation. This makes you sound more sure of yourself, more confident, and it helps you keep up with how fast native speakers talk. Suddenly, conversations feel less like a difficult test and more like an enjoyable, natural chat. Second, it makes you feel much less tired. Constantly translating in your head is incredibly draining. Imagine running a race where you have to consciously think about every single step your foot takes. You'd be worn out very quickly, wouldn't you? Speaking a foreign language with constant translation is very similar. When you can speak without that heavy mental load, you'll find that talking is simply more fun, and you'll be able to communicate for much longer periods without feeling completely drained. This ability to keep going, to stay engaged in conversation, is vital for continued practice and getting better. Third, and perhaps most important of all, it lets you really connect with people. When your focus isn't on the little technical parts of the language, the grammar rules, finding the right words, getting the pronunciation just right, you can truly pay attention to the actual meaning, to the emotions behind the words, and most importantly, to the person you're talking to. This is where real, heartfelt communication happens. It frees up your brain's energy to listen carefully, to understand small details and hints, and to reply thoughtfully and with genuine care instead of just trying to put sentences together. You can genuinely engage with the human on the other side of the conversation. Now, you might be thinking, that all sounds wonderful, Alyssa, but how do I actually get there? The good news is that speaking without thinking isn't some kind of special, magical gift given to a few lucky people. It's simply the result of consistent, focused practice. It's about slowly teaching your brain new ways of working, building strong new pathways in your mind, and transforming what you know consciously about English into a skill you use easily and without a second thought. It's a gradual process, like building a strong house brick by brick. But every single step you take builds a stronger foundation for your fluency. Let's dive into some simple, practical things you can start doing today. The first step, and arguably the most vital one, is to surround yourself with English as much as humanly possible. Think of it like learning to ride a bicycle. You don't learn by sitting down and reading a thick manual about cycling. You learn by actually getting on the bike and experiencing it, falling a few times, and figuring it out. Your brain needs constant, natural exposure to English, soaking it in like a sponge. So listen carefully and widely. This is exactly why our channel, English Active Listening, is so important. Make listening to English a daily habit, as natural as breathing. Don't just hear the words passively. Try to actively grasp the overall meaning. Notice how the speaker sounds and how their sentences are put together. Listen to podcasts that interest you. Watch English TV shows and movies. At first, it's perfectly fine to use English subtitles, but try to slowly stop using them as you get more comfortable. Make sure to try listening to different accents and how fast different people speak to broaden your understanding. For example, when you're listening to a podcast or watching a TV show, resist that urge to stop and look up every single unknown word right away. Instead, focus on understanding the main idea of each part. If you miss a word, try your best to guess what it means from the surrounding words and the general topic. This important habit teaches your brain to keep moving forward, just like in a real fast-paced conversation. It helps you develop a comfort with not knowing every single thing, which is a crucial skill for fluent speakers. Make listening an active, engaging thing to do, not just background noise that fades away. Also, read a lot and with a purpose. Reading is a fantastic way to internalize grammar structures and learn new words in real natural situations. The more you read, the more familiar these patterns become in your mind, making them easier to remember and use when you speak. Start with topics you genuinely love and are interested in, so it doesn't feel like a boring chore. For instance, if you love to cook, find English recipe blogs or food magazines. If you're really passionate about technology, read tech news websites or articles about new gadgets. The more you enjoy what you're reading, the more likely you are to stick with it and absorb the language naturally, sometimes without even realizing you're studying. Reading also exposes you to many different ways to build sentences and different writing styles, which can positively influence your own speaking style. This might sound very simple, but it's true. You absolutely have to speak to get better at speaking. And sometimes the very best person to start practicing with is yourself. Getting over that initial awkward feeling of speaking aloud when you're alone can truly unlock significant progress in your fluency. One fantastic trick is shadowing for better sound and rhythm. Find an English audio track. It could be a scene from a movie, a short speech from a famous person, or even one of our English active listening videos. Play a sentence or two, then pause, and try to mimic exactly what you heard. Try your best to match the pronunciation, the way your voice goes up and down, and the speed. Don't worry too much about understanding every single word at first. Just focus on the sound and how it flows. For practice, try shadowing a short part. Say just 30 seconds, many times over. Each time, try to get closer to how the original speaker delivered it. This exercise trains your mouth and tongue muscles to produce English sounds more naturally, and your brain starts to link the sound patterns with the physical feeling of producing them. You'll be amazed at how quickly your mouth gets used to forming English words. Then there's self-talk and daily narration. Make it a consistent habit to describe your day out loud in English. Narrate what you're doing as you do it. You might say, "I'm making a cup of tea now," or "I'm walking to the market," or "I need to buy some vegetables for dinner." This simple act forces your brain to quickly find words and build sentences on the spot, just like you would in a real conversation. For example, when you're getting ready in the morning, talk yourself through it. "Okay, first I'll brush my teeth. Then I'll choose my clothes. I think I'll wear the blue shirt today because it's sunny." While it might feel a bit silly or strange at first, it's an incredibly effective way to activate your English-speaking brain in low-pressure situations. It helps you get used to the habit of thinking in English. You can also try imaginative role-playing. Imagine different situations and practice having conversations in your head, or even out loud. Think about scenarios like ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions on the street, having a job interview, or even discussing a recent news topic with a friend. Play both sides of the conversation, acting out both roles. This prepares your brain for real-life interactions by simulating them in a safe, controlled environment. To make this practice even better, try recording yourself. It might feel a bit uncomfortable at first to listen to your own voice, but it's an incredibly valuable tool. Listening back helps you identify areas where you can improve your pronunciation, grammar, how smoothly you speak, and even how fast you talk. You'll spot patterns or mistakes you didn't notice when you were speaking. One common mistake many learners make is learning words one by one in isolation. To truly speak without thinking, you need to learn groups of words, common phrases, idiomatic expressions, and words that naturally go together, what we call collocations. When you learn a phrase like, "How are you doing?" as one complete piece, your brain remembers and retrieves that whole unit when you want to ask someone how they are. You don't have to put it together word by word, which is a much slower and more effortful process. So make sure you learn common expressions. Phrases like, "at the end of the day," "on the other hand," "I couldn't agree more," or "it goes without saying," are the essential building blocks of natural, fluent conversation. When you know these, your speech becomes much smoother, more efficient, and sounds much more like a native speaker. For instance, instead of just learning the word happy, expand your vocabulary by learning phrases like, "I'm over the moon," or "I'm thrilled to bits," or "I'm on cloud nine." These expressions are used frequently in everyday English and will make your communication sound much more natural and expressive. Also, really notice and use word pairs or collocations. These are words that naturally fit together, like make a decision, not do a decision, or heavy rain, not strong rain. Paying close attention to these natural pairings when you listen and read will help you use them instinctively in your own speech. without having to think about it. A helpful tip for practice is to keep a special notebook dedicated just for phrases and collocations you come across. You can organize them by theme or by the main verb or noun they use. Make sure to review them regularly and then consciously try to work them into your self-talk and your actual conversations. The more you use them, the more ingrained and natural they become in your English. This is a big one, and perhaps the most challenging tip for many learners. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I want you to know that mistakes are not failures. They are actually incredibly valuable learning opportunities. Every single time you stumble or say something imperfectly, your brain is actively figuring out what works and what doesn't, refining its understanding of the language. So, get comfortable with imperfection. The primary goal of communicating is to get your message across, not to achieve grammatical perfection in every single sentence. Many learners get stuck in a cycle of hesitation because they're simply scared of sounding wrong or feeling embarrassed. This fear often completely stops them from speaking spontaneously. Remind yourself constantly that even native speakers make mistakes, misspeak, and often rephrase their sentences on the fly. True fluency comes from communication, from being understood, not from flawless articulation. Think about a time you tried something completely new, maybe learning a sport, playing a musical instrument, or even a new craft. You didn't become an expert overnight, did you? You made awkward moves, hit wrong notes, or fumbled with tools, but you kept trying. Speaking English is exactly the same journey. Those awkward pauses, grammar slips, or pronunciation errors are simply a normal, messy, yet absolutely essential part of the natural learning process. Then you must practice under pressure for rapid retrieval. You need to find opportunities to speak English in real time, even if it feels a little daunting at first. Join online conversation clubs, find language exchange partners, or simply try talking English with friends, coworkers, or classmates who also want to practice. The pressure of a live conversation forces your brain to retrieve words and form sentences more quickly and automatically than when you are speaking alone. To ease into this, start with low-stakes environments. Maybe practice with a very patient friend first, or join an online community where everyone is learning and supportive, where the focus is on encouraging each other. As you gain confidence, gradually expose yourself to more challenging situations, like ordering food at a busy cafe or participating in a group discussion. Each successful interaction, no matter how small, builds your confidence and reinforces these neural pathways for automatic speech, making the next conversation even easier. Finally, to truly speak without thinking, you need to shift your focus from individual words to the overall message, the feeling, or the story you want to tell. When you tell a story in your main language, you're not consciously thinking about the grammar of each sentence. You're immersed in conveying the events, the emotions, and the impact of your narrative. I want you to try and adopt this exact mindset for English. So, practice storytelling and recounting things. Take a simple event from your day, a recent experience you had, or a short, funny anecdote, and try to tell it in English. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just focus on getting the main points across and building a coherent story. For example, you might say, "This morning I went to the park. It was very sunny. I saw a dog chasing a ball. It made me smile." Even with simple sentences, you are actively building a narrative. As you get better, try adding more descriptive details, expressing emotions, and making your story more engaging. This practice forces your brain to link ideas together and organize them directly in English. Also, actively express your opinions and feelings. Being able to share your thoughts, emotions, and opinions in English is a significant step towards speaking automatically. This requires you to use different words and grammar, moving beyond just reporting facts to more abstract thinking and personal expression. A great practice tip for this is, after watching a movie, reading an interesting article, or listening to a debate, try to summarize it out loud in English, and then give your opinion on it. You could say, "I thought the movie was really good because," or "I disagree with that article because." This forces you to organize your thoughts and articulate complex ideas directly in English, strengthening your ability to spontaneously generate reasoned responses. So, how can you integrate these powerful strategies into your daily life? Remember, consistency is absolutely key. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused practice every single day will yield better results than one long, infrequent session once a week. Here's a possible routine you could try. In the morning, make it your English wake-up call for about 15 to 20 minutes. While you're getting ready or during your commute, listen to an English podcast or a segment of an English news broadcast. For about 5 minutes, try some shadowing from a short audio clip you like. This gets your mouth and mind ready for English production right at the start of your day. Then, at midday, take a quick English boost for 10 to 15 minutes. During a short break, engage in some self-talk. Describe what you just did, what you are doing right now, or what you plan to do next. You can also quickly review some of your collected phrases and collocations to keep them fresh in your mind. In the evening, dedicate some time for a deep dive and application for 20 to 30 minutes. Watch an English TV show or movie. Try to start without subtitles, then add English ones if needed. But really try to avoid using subtitles in your native language. After watching, take a few minutes to summarize the plot or discuss a character's actions out loud. If you have a language partner or a friend who also practices English, this is a great time to schedule a call and apply what you've learned in a real conversation. And throughout the day, cultivate active awareness. Whenever you come across a new English word, try to immediately find a common phrase or a word pair it naturally goes with. Pay close attention to how native speakers use words together, not just by themselves. This constant awareness will significantly improve your natural usage. Remember, every little bit adds up. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your small victories along the way, and stay persistent. You are building a powerful new skill. Speaking English without thinking is truly the ultimate goal for many learners, and I want to assure you that it's completely achievable with the right approach and consistent, dedicated practice. It's a journey about building confidence, expanding your automatic vocabulary and phrase bank so the words just come out, and allowing yourself the freedom to make mistakes as a natural and necessary part of the learning curve. By truly soaking yourself in the language, actively practicing speaking even when you're alone, focusing on learning and using natural phrases, accepting and learning from your mistakes, and shifting your focus to the meaning and story you want to convey, you'll find that the words will begin to flow more easily and naturally than ever before. You'll gradually move from consciously translating in your head to simply communicating your thoughts and feelings with effortless ease. Keep practicing, Keep listening carefully and keep pushing yourself to new heights. You can absolutely do this, and every step brings you closer to your goal. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and subscribe to English Active Listening for more tips and lessons to help you on your English journey. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's the biggest difficulty you face when trying to speak English without thinking? Or what's one specific tip from this video that you're most excited to try out first? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.